in Abuja. Then are we going to leave out the derailment of our trains? Because it's been happening more often, and the question has been, what is the cause? If we keep on having these derailments and losing lives, should we continue or halt the services, take a stock and then know how we are going to continue? All these and more are going to feature on today's conversation, so we ask you to stay with us on today's conversation. Antonio Disambeki is on the analysis desk. Good morning, Tony.
Good morning to you. Good morning to you, Franklin Ebuka. Good morning, Nigerians. Good morning, the good people of Southeast. Good morning, Indiana Anambra. Good morning, Indi Onechado Nedo. Good morning, Indi Osmo. Good morning, everyone under the reach of our voice. We are back in our sanctuary. We are back to do the work of the Lord. We are here to do our evangelism, trying to bring good news to the people. For those who are depressed, for those who are downtrodden, those who are in sorrow, because whatever we say here, at the end of the day, we change our mood. And when we do say that we take care of your high blood pressure, we are not being comical. We are being real about it. You're welcome. It's another beautiful day. Today being Tuesday. And just as we know, the 9th day in the month of May, in the month of June rather. And we are here to continue from where we stopped yesterday. Because the stories are endless. They don't finish. Or we do our best to bring it in a way and manner that you would not just digest, assimilate, but at the same time make your own thoughts known. And when Franklin was talking about the trending video, by the time we maybe start talking about that, I know the person in view, I know the place, I know everything about the person. Probably he has, maybe, I wouldn't say that he escaped my memory, but I didn't push my thought through that part. But there are other things the woman didn't say that I would also say. But nevertheless, probably we'll talk about that and how some of these practices infringes on homeland security law, because it's not about emotion, it's not about sentiment. You're gonna look at the law and things it does. Are those things against the homeland security law of 2025? Just sit back as always, as usual, and enjoy our program. We thank God Almighty for making it possible for us to be here. We say, may all the glory, honor, and adoration be unto his name. And at the same time, the miracle of waking up, which we don't take lightly. We appreciate that. Sit back and enjoy the program.
Okay, so we're going to be back in a jiffy. Stay with us.
You're listening to The Polity. Get involved now.
Of course, you are listening to The Polity on Udala Radio 104.7 FM on the chart. It's now 9:26 a.m. My name is Franklin Ebuka, and we are going to bring you the headlines this very morning. Like we told you that we are already live on our Facebook page, so you can join that very streaming and follow the proceedings. Let's begin with the headlines we have this very morning on 4 newspapers. We have The Nation, The Tribune, Vanguard, and Punch newspapers. And we'll begin with the headlines we have on The Nation newspaper. This one says, Nigeria mauls South Africa retaliation, on page 5 of The Nation newspaper. Then the front page of The Nation newspaper is taken over by advertorial coming from the FCT minister, talking about the commissioning of a project. The one he mentioned that is going to last for 31 days, so he has started. You can now see the front page of Nation newspaper being taken over by that advertorial. So we will have a few headlines on the front page of The Nation and some other papers. Then Other headlines we have on the Nation newspaper say Shetima, Sonolu, Lagos best for investment on page 2. Lagos hosted investment summit, and we saw some governors who were there to pitch their state. We saw Abia State governor who pitched Abia State, talking about what Abia has on ground now for any investor who wants to come to that very state. We also saw Imo State governor talking about what is on ground in Imo State. Two of them talked about availability of power in the state. So anybody who wants to invest in manufacturing industry, that the environment is conducive for them to invest. Another headline we have here says inside house where Delabu's sister nephew were held hostage. On page 8, the building was pulled down yesterday. So it seems like that is the should I say the stance that has been taken by many state government, that if once any building is found to be used for any kidnapping offense, is going to be pulled down. This headline says soldier killed, villagers abducted in Ogun community on page 2. And the headline says abductors of Oyo pupils, we want negotiation on our leaders' release on page 45 of Nation newspaper. We move over to the Nigerian Tribune, which also has the same advertorial that I mentioned that was contained in the Nation newspaper. So the Nigerian Tribune has 3 headlines here on the front page. First one says Obomosho abductors speak through school principal again. On page 4, he has a rider. We didn't ask for 1 billion naira ransom. Sharia, we are only demanding our members' release. Bandits kidnap 50 elders on peace mission in Zamfara on page 3. 3 passengers die in Warri Itakpe train accident on page 25 of Nigerian Tribune. Then over to Vanguard newspaper. On Vanguard, this one says how high prices are degrading quality of food Nigerians eat on page 5. It has a reader that says unsafe food kills 53,000 Nigerians annually, seeking 15 million. FG raises alarm. The other headline, the other writers to this very story. Abducted Oyo principal speaks from captivity on page 20. The writer says begs Nigerians to secure their freedom. This one says Pastor Emily Memorial Lecture, political position isn't leadership. Kuka tells Nigerians on page 8 of Vanguard. MPA Nimasa, others helpless as tankers shut down Oshodia Papa Expressway on page 7. Xenophobia, Nigeria may retaliate against South Africa FG on page 9. Finance Ministry, contractors clash over outstanding debt on page 19. I think that was yesterday that the federal government announced that a certain amount of money has been approved for the payment of debt owed the contractors. They said it was categorized, but we can see that there are reactions trailing that, where contractors are clashing with the federal government on that. So these are the headlines we have on the front page of Vanguard. And you can see the picture story of the Lagos Investment Summit that held yesterday. You can see the picture of Shetima, Vice President, the picture of Imo State Governor, the picture of Abia State Governor, the picture of the Minister for Finance, and some others. So we leave Vanguard to cross over to Punch, which happens to be the last newspaper this very morning. The big story there says terrorist den. 360 freed Borno captives recount starvation deaths on pages 2 and 3. The riders, survivors reveal forced teenage recruitment. Senate to debate state police bill this week. And this story about 360 persons who were freed in Borno State, we have seen 3 different accounts of what happened. The account from the military is saying that these people were freed after a coordinated operation by the military. But the likes of Arnold, the likes of one Borno youth group, they are saying that these people were freed based on negotiations, that nothing like coordinated effort by the military. There's also one account claiming that about 6 billion naira was paid to secure the release of this very person. So different angles or different perspective to one story. That's what we have there. Another story we have on the front page of the Punch says Oyo abduction, kidnap principal denies bandit shared demand on page 3. Nigerians spend 50 billion naira on US visa applications on page 9. Xenophobia, FG weighs sanctions against South Africa on page 7. Somebody might want to ask, does Nigeria have the capacity to sanction South Africa over the very xenophobia? What is that thing government can do? And they can send a reverberating shockwave across South Africa that is no longer business as usual. This one says suspected kidnappers kill soldier, injure another in Ogun on page 3 of Punch newspaper. 53,000 dead, 50 million sick yearly from unsafe food. FG on page 8. Another headline says INEC to deploy over 2,400 beavers, 9,500 staff on page 11. You want to know the story? You want to know where the election is going to happen? Then you can check page 11 of the Punch newspaper. UBA, or rather that should be Oba Rabiu Bamidele to lead APC campaign council on page 11 of Punch newspaper. So these are the stories we had this very morning on the front pages of the papers that we brought you. So next is for us to look at the big stories that we have trending. Stay with us.
You're listening to The Polity. Get involved now.
Okay, you're tuned to Udala Radio 104.7 FM. Of course, you are listening to The Polity. My name is Frank Nebuka. Tunoli Sambeki is on the analysis desk. And we begin this very morning in earnest on this very program. Here from Anambra State, the video I made mention, the trending video made by a young woman. Like I said, she should be in her 30s. And from the video she made, she said she grew up in Anambra State here. So she was quite aware what she was talking about. She was saying that since the government of Anambra State has been going after suspected fake pastors, that there is one that government needs to move in and see what he's doing. And she mentioned names. She mentioned where he has his church. And he said the government of Anambra State should do quick to save women and families who have been converted by this same pastor. Tony, what do you know?
Well, when you ask what do I know, I think I said it during the intro that I know the person, I know the very person being talked about, because I will not refer him as man of God. Maybe I will refer him as man of man. I will refer him as man of man, but I watched the very video. But I think what the young lady added, but which I feel maybe I may not have known that one, was the history, where she stated that the man started somewhere at Warri, and then where at Warri he started, she was able to mention that very place. I didn't know that the man started at Warri, but the Ilodibe, where the man is presently in, is very, very, very more close to me, because there was a time, I think it has to do with, for those who are voting around that very place, Ward 9, I think it should be Ward 9 on Nature North. That is the ward. The question is, the person involved. Yes, the name of the church now is Day Spring Assembly. But the young lady started by when the church was the Church of God. Because there was transition. There was a name they were actually bearing before now. But these were some of the stories she highlighted. I mean, she said that when they were young, when she was a very young girl, that these were certain practices. And when the man moved to Ilodibe, if you are moving right and, or if it's a street or whatever, behind St. Michael, the Archangel Parish, Awada, the man shares fence with St. Michael's, that is a Catholic church. Now, the building is so, how would I describe it? The building is so massive and then very beautiful. The man he likes aesthetics. He used golden substances to decorate the building. But in any case, let's talk about the practices. Yes, different doctrines. The man introduced doctrines from time to time. And most of the followers are brainwashed. They just like the lady said, they do love program. When they do love program, which start by 7 p.m., you come there, anybody you see that is maybe you like, you can start having sex with the person right inside the church. And another thing, one of the doctrines the man introduced was the fact that in the eyes of God, there is nothing like woman or man. You will see men, they will put on weave on. The lady did not add that one. If you will see men, they will put on wrapper. They dress like a woman, put on weave on, put on bra. You will see women, they dress like men. It's a doctrine. I don't know, if for the man, the doctrine means that in the eyes of the God, or before God Almighty, there is nothing like man or woman. You can dress anyhow. That you cannot strictly say that I'm a man, this is the way I'm going to dress. I'm a woman, this is the way I'm going to dress. So any way you feel confident. So the man forces the church members to dress like women. Men, you will see them doing sanitation, preaching. They will come to preach to you. Do you know how? A man who dressed like a woman, wearing woman's weave on, putting a woman's earring, putting on bra, putting on woman's skirt, will bring a Bible and start preaching to you. And most times when they come to preach to people, people will run away, believing or thinking they are mad people. But there are those they will be able to convince that they are not mad, that they are doing evangelical work. Now, the young lady said that man married so many wives. That's true. And the young lady also said the man had given so many fake prophecies, misleading people. Each time he says the Holy Spirit has ministered unto me, that this is this. And if you look at what the young lady said in that very video, that the man in view swap women. You can sleep with anybody's wife. Nothing like is my wife or she's my wife or he's my wife. And the man takes people's wife. Most of the people, the women the man married, they at one point married to other people, either church members. The last we had, when I knew the man, I got to know he married about 20-something wives. But now the woman is saying, the young woman on Facebook was saying that the man from the last count, 50-something wives. Not that the man went and meet young women and married. No, the man took over. Most of the women married, they were once married. Married women remarried to the man, and they all live in the man's house. Because if you look at the man's house, it's a big mansion. Yes, I just if those who know on St. Michael's Archangel Parish, shares things, you can locate it through Orivite. You can also locate it through Ilodibe. Either of the two. It's not hidden. But the other aspect, the woman went into like taking people's property. That was one of the church members, according to the lady, that the man in view brainwashed. They died, and when the man died, before he died, the pastor in view made sure that the man willed everything in his name, transferred all his monies and all that, and he died. You don't go to hospital. Nothing like going to hospital. Once you are sick, they believe in praying for you, and if you die in the process, because he will tell you that Holy Spirit has spoken, that so shall it be. You dare not disobey Holy Spirit. Whatever he tells you, he will tell you that it is coming from the Holy Spirit. That is fake prophecy, misleading the people, because it's part of the provisions of the Homeland Security Law. When you give people fake prophecy in a way to mislead them. And the other aspect the woman went, that I thought that probably I did not know, when she said that the man has a private burial ground, that the church members that died, the man buries them in his own cemetery, private cemetery. And I remember those days when we were growing up, you know, the present St. Michael Archangel, the parish, where the man is even having the church, was former burial ground. For those who grew up in that area should know that there was a burial ground along Orivite axis of Awada. But over time, those burial ground, those lands were sold out. And one of the lands happens to be where the man erected a church. Even this, the Catholic Church is also sitting on the burial ground. The point I'm trying to make is, has the man violated any of the known provisions of the law? Let's take you to the law. It's important. If you go to section 18, section 18 of the law specifically talks about prohibition on administering charms, substances for crime or for supernatural wealth, where it talks about imprisonment of up to 6 years or fine of about 20 years. That's talking about SNY Okite. That is provision section 18. Then if you go to section 18, subsection 2, 3, part of it, it talks about misleading the public with false supernatural claims. And if you look at it, any person who misleads the public by purporting to wield any supernatural powers which he is found not to possess, or who obtains any reward, money, donation, or gift from any person in furtherance of that claim, commits an offense. That's where people are coming in for Udumeje in that angle, saying that he says he has Abido Cheka. Those things he usually calls. I can't call them the way he calls them. Abido Cheka. I don't know. You know those things.
But is that not a joke?
For me, he says that he possesses those powers, and the law says any person who misleads the public by purporting to wield any supernatural powers which is found not to possess.
But do you know what Gandusa is?
I don't know what is Gandusa. No.
He was joking. Is it the one he say I have 5? I'll put 5G and whatever. It's just
but
joking.
He has to tell the court that he was actually joking, because if he doesn't say he was joking, members or suspecting members of the public may believe it is true. Anytime you say you wield any supernatural power, where it is believed, it is found, because government will say you don't have it. You have to come and prove you have it. It's part of the law. As where some people are coming for against Odumeje, not that because that he's another fake or whatever alleged fake prophecies he has been giving to people, and saying that he will cure this, he has cured that. You don't come out and say, most times you have to be very careful in this country. I have said this thing many times. Why do people don't go to UK and say they possess these powers? Do you know in UK, preaching is regulated, even when Christianity came from them. Even in Ireland, because I'm aware Christianity, especially Roman Catholicism, came through Irish missionaries. You don't just go there and say you wield those powers and mislead the public. They don't want anybody to mislead the public, because if you mislead the public, it means that government has failed.
No, Tony, the man in question being referenced now, he is in the eye of the storm now because 8 pastors were arrested, and somebody decided to take the bull by the horn by doing a profiling. But what is astonishing is that he has been in this very practice for not less than 30 years, and people know about it, and nobody's talking. And the most interesting part is that people have been going there as members. Then the question now comes, have people become enchanted that they cannot distinguish between what is real and what appears to be unreal?
Well, just like you said, to brainwash people is very easy. Tell them or make a bogus claim of powers you never had. Portray it in a way that seems to be admissible. Before you know it, they'll be gullible. That is it. And coming back to some of these practices, just like you said 30 years, more than 30 years. This man has been in this business for more than 30 years. He has got many properties. And if you watch the video very well, where the young lady was saying that there was a man in Lagos doing well, a member of the church. He swapped the man's wife with his daughter. That the Holy Spirit has spoken that the woman you are marrying is not your wife. And married his own daughter to the man, probably because the man is wealthy. And probably know what he may be targeting. We are being very careful because he's still a suspect in the eyes of the law until proven guilty. But some of these things I saw them, not that I heard. When this young man was saying this, Before the woman mentioned the name of the church, I say, oh, it could be this man. He is popular. And you members of the church, they don't joke with him. They don't. You come to say anything against him, they may even stone you, frankly. People that will wear skirts, we put on weave on like a mad woman, wear bra, I'm talking about men, and bring Bible and will be preaching to you. You look at somebody preaching to you. What does the person tries to tell you? That is one. And the man, of course, he does give away. He cooks, they eat together from one pot, and when it is love program, you sleep with anybody you want. If you go there, you will see young men in their late 20s, in their late 30s, they are all there. They are all there. When they do sanitation, frankly, most times that's when we see them. When they do sanitation, you will see how committed, cleaning the gutter, cleaning the drainages, what they do, how they congregate, and sometimes they go out the way Jehovah's Witness people do, preaching, that kind of trying to do evangelism. Their preaching is to convert you to their church, not necessarily for you to repent. They go out to bring in more people, and the man keeps buying property. Do you know what it means for you to have 50-something wives? And most of the women, 90% or 95% of the women you are married to, we are taken from their husband, respective husband. Why this woman made this video was because a young man was saying that the wife was taken. Now, Pastor Naliamunia. That was what led this woman to make this video. You remember yesterday, I was saying something about many pastors, they target the wife. See, let's be real. I like calling a spade a spade. Most churches you see today, apart from defrauding people, the ministers, their next or their second target is the women, the married women, is their second target. Apart from financial target, trying to defraud people financially, the second in rank is the wives of either members or anybody who comes to that church. If you're a single woman, they are not going to marry you. Sorry. They prefer marrying the married women or having something with the married women. That's what they prefer.
Okay, so this very story took my mind to one part of the Bible, Exodus 30:22. If you check some translation, you know the story of how Moses went on Mount Sinai receiving the 10 commandments from God, and the Israelites, they grew impatient and asked Aaron to make them gods. And a passage there says they ate and drank and rose to play. I can't forget that in our retreat. So with that, we're going to conclude this, and now we have to cross over to politics now, because NDC is in the news. Even before I came into the studio, Obunikyo Hebu, I think he's from one of the communities in Newi South. He was on television talking about what happened in NDC during the primaries. And I must say that since Sunday till date, NDC has been in the news, no thanks to stories emanating from that very party. Of course, we know that when Peter Obi moved into the party, it was seen like the next big thing, and all eyes were on the party. The party went for primaries, and the people were expecting that it would be different from what we saw in other parties, but it wasn't from the estimation of the people. And now results were being waited, and no official result had been announced by NDC more than 1 week after the primaries were held. And we began to hear stories. And the first thing we heard on Sunday was a press statement which was signed by OSA director, who is National Public Secretary of NDC. Now, in that very press statement, he talked about how the second neck meeting of the party made some resolutions towards making major steps in institutionalization. If you look at that very press statement, you see that NDC talked about the supremacy of the party, and talked about any affiliated groups or NGOs working for the party or working with any of the candidates, that they must operate under the guidance and control of the party, and they must not function in parallel with or independently of the party structure. And people began to read meaning that the Kwankwaso group and obedient groups were being targeted. Now, if you go through that statement too, you will see a part that talks about a comprehensive code of conduct which shall be established for all the party officials and candidates. And to that very end, it also talked about NDC not being being built as an institution, or rather, he said NDC is not built as a personality cult or political movement or even special purpose vehicle. Rather, is being built an institution, not something that can be used and discarded. People also read meaning to this, that is talking about people who are going to jump on NDC, use it to contest the election, win, and eventually leave the party to move. And it's also talked about issue of financial probity, whereby the party is saying that it's going to enforce strict accountability in the management of party resources by all officers, and party funds must be used strictly for party business. Also, a part of that very statement talked about where there must be also strict accountability for all funding received, money sourced by candidates at all levels. They're going to pass through the party. Party has to have an eye on this very funding. And these things have been interpreted to mean that it's being targeted at Obi's obedient movement and the Kwankwaso's movement. While we were trying to achieve this, then there was a story that there was dissension in NDC, that Rabiu Kwankwaso was threatening to leave the party because he felt that some of his men loyal to him who won primaries in Kano State under NDC, that their names were being changed. But from the party sources were saying that what the party was trying to do is to ensure that there was a balance between the agreement the party had with Rabiu Kwankwaso, where they agreed that it's going to be a sharing of 60-40%. But in the thick of this whole thing, NDC yesterday released a list of candidates who emerged from the primary in Kano State alone. Other states have not been released. That same yesterday, Kwankwaso group reacted, saying that there was no dissension between Rabiu Kwankwaso and the party leader, saying there's nothing like formal complaint, and it's just people trying to create tension where there is no tension. That same yesterday, the video of Kenneth Okonkwo on television also trended, even to this very morning, where he mentioned Peter Obi. He mentioned the name of Peter Obi specifically, saying that he was involved in alleged fraud in the party. So we have a handful in NDC now.
All right. I think for me, let me begin with Kenneth Okonkwo. I followed that very program. I'm not going for minced word, because the person who anchored the program was Mobe of Channels. She did anchor the program, and she allowed Kenneth Okonkwo to spill certain things ordinarily the broadcasting code would not have allowed. You can't just come and be calling anybody a fraud. That fraud called Peter Obi, that fraud. And as an anchor person, you allow that. No, I'm not saying this because it's Peter Obi or it's because no. Nobody has power to call anybody fraud except the courts. And you are a broadcaster. You ask the person, you take exception to that very statement. But I wasn't seeing the anchor person taking certain exceptions to some statements. Even when these statements were more like people's testimonies. And who said that testimonies can only be used, judged to be true. For me, the anchor person did not do well to regulate the programs in terms of what should be said. No, I'm not saying whether he is or is not. But there are things you should not say on air. The idea is let the public not to be misled. Now, coming back to the issue of NDC, I have warned Nigerians before now. You should not expect anything different from NDC. And I don't like being hypocritical. That's one thing about our people here. They are completely hypocritical. When Abga did their own, we are condemning Abga. And I said, I asked questions, made inquiries. Look at things they told me. That we are rewarding party loyalty, this, that. And the people said, why do you tell people to go to the field when you know that these are criteria? And that's the question anybody could have asked. They said that even when those people were told, they still said no. The law says allow them to go to the field. But they were first communicated. And some people say, why would you collect nomination money from them? The party says they did not collect any nomination. They will only collect nomination when you become candidate of the party. But the only thing they collected was expression of interest form.
Yeah, was it for NDC or for ABGA you mentioned?
I'm talking about ABGA. And then NDC did the same thing.
No,
I'm coming back to the NDC.
Is there no difference between what NDC and ABGA did? Because NDC said when you have a match candidate, you can pay your nomination form.
Exactly.
ABGA said when you have been cleared to contest primary, you can now pay your nomination form.
No. ABGA's...
That's what is out there.
No. But what they actually did, I'm telling you what they did. What they did was, if you become, because if you look at last elections, even the by-election, once you become the candidate, then you pay your nomination, but you pay first expression of interest. Now, once these things are, because nomination should be, you've been nominated. Most times, let's first the fact. The real thing is, you can only pay nomination fee if you've been nominated by a party. That's if you won candidacy. But you've seen parties like a PDP, because PDP introduced it. You pay expression of interest, pay nomination even when you're going in for primaries. Let's tell the records clear. You don't pay for nomination when you've not been nominated. You can only, I'm not minding how other parties do it, but I'm saying what is right, conventional. That nomination fee means you've been nominated, not going for primaries. Generally speaking, I don't know how some parties do it. But you made your point, but I'm saying what I was told, because I said I made inquiries. But the point is, we criticize it and said, even at that, you must provide a level playing field for everybody. And you know, when people call in, they say, you are supporting ABGA. I said, no, I wasn't supporting them. I said, I asked questions. Look at some of the answers they gave me. But some of the answers may not be tenable. Some I didn't say, that they have a way of rewarding loyalty, that they have been beaten in the past, where people who came on their platform defected to another party. They cited Abaribe, they cited Onyo Chanaba, and so many other persons they cited that these people used their party, the party won the seat, they defected, making the party they would want to gather. That was the answers they gave me. Now, coming back to NDC, something close. NDC said, you will not pay nomination until you've been elected as candidate. Right. And ABGA said the same thing, right. But where Kenneth Okonkwo came in, you know what Kenneth Okonkwo said? He said that Southeast Caucus started demanding 10 million or 15 million from candidates as bribe. And he now said that Peter Obi is aware that they couldn't have done this without Peter Obi's knowledge. And Peter Obi being the leader of the party in the Southeast and one of the national leaders of the party cannot stand to be ignorant of this. And the people who made that very payment said that he was actually in the know. And but Kenneth Okonkwo went further to say that those monies were collected for Peter Obi for his campaign. He did not substantiate it. He did not prove it. The anchor person allowed it. Because if I were to be the anchor person, I would ask, can you give me the proof? The proof of where he asked that such money be collected for him for campaigns. You must provide the proof, not testimony somebody gave. Anybody can say anything for any reason, but you must provide the proof coming from him. That did not happen because the anchor person, allowed that to slide. For me, I have said it many times, do not expect anything different from NDC. I think the only thing NDC did, which I thought wasn't okay, was the idea of delaying the release of the list of the candidates. You could have coordinated their primaries. Why would you have parallel primaries? A party registered in February. A party registered in February 2026. Having parallels already. You've not even lasted up to 6 months. There is a problem somewhere. Because in the Definitely Not, I saw many people coming claiming that they were the candidates of the party. I don't know if you are aware of that. Somebody was claiming. Uche and Okonkwo was also claiming. And people were saying that he has lost, and things like that. But the party said, we will make publication. And they said they will be having maybe meeting or next meeting to approve. That is opacity. Things were not done transparently. But outside that, I've not seen what they have done that is different from what other political parties have done. People who are saying that it should have been an institution, did they tell you they were setting an institution?
So is it possible that NDC is delaying releasing the list of those who scaled through the primary because they wanted to ensure that nobody uses the party to discard?
For me, they are doing what other political parties are doing. The idea is, but how would you know who will leave because they have not had any experience? Unlike Abgada says, why we are doing what we are doing, because we have had the experience. There are people who have used our platform, they have left us, they have defected, things like that.
But they know some persons who were with Obi on Labour Party.
Yeah.
They won on the party and left the party. And later they came back to NDC
now,
to use the platform.
The question is, how do you judge them? They have not committed any offense against the party. They only committed offense against Labour. For the fact they committed against Labour does not also translate they will commit against NDC.
But is that doesn't show someone's track record?
It's a track record, but you look at it as it is being applied. Applicability is what is measured. But reference is also important. Oh, he is this kind of person that once he gets to power, he leaves. But the party constitution, if you are to apply it, will relate it to the party itself, not to another party. You wouldn't see anywhere in the party constitution that says if he has left this party and that party, we will not give him ticket in our party.
But on the other hand, if parties are concerned about people using the platform to win election and then move based on the antecedents, why did they give them waiver or clear them in the first instance?
That is the point. Once you suspect, I said it the other time we talked about this elaborately. I said the provisions of Electoral Act and some parties' constitution do not provide the criteria for screening. Criteria becomes what the screening committee calls criteria because we have the statutory one. The statutory criteria is that you must be so age, you will be a citizen of this country, you will not have dual citizenship. These are statutory ones as provided in the constitution, as also collaborated in the Electoral Act. That is settled. But the other things they bring on, and it becomes their discretionary authority, which has no shape and form. They may demand fire extinguisher from you. I'm using that as a joke anyway, but you understand anything they call criteria. I'm of the view that if you want to screen somebody, the criteria should be spelled out. Even the persons being screened should know that these are the criteria.
Okay, let's talk about the alleged payment of 10 million naira because Kenneth Okonkwo talked about it yesterday, and this very morning, as I was watching Obuniko Hebu, I think he was a one-time federal commissioner I'm trying to remember the ministry, whether it's the Ministry of War thereabout. He said that he confirmed that he paid 10 million naira because party secretary promised him that if he pays the money, he stands a higher chance to get it. Then he paid, and later he learned that other aspirants also paid. Now, when the primaries were conducted, he was sure that he won. That he even offered to refund others their 10 million to ensure that he goes as the candidate. That means he confirmed that he paid. Now, the question has been, why do politicians always get involved in racketeering?
Yeah.
They get involved in secret deals. And when it doesn't favor them, they come to the public to cry foul.
I think it is important.
Is it not hypocrisy?
Hypocrisy. People do not understand. When we say hypocrisies, when it is Mr. A, you turn your left. In fact, you turn your face. When it is Mr. B, because you don't like Mr. B, you come heavy on the person. You don't use the same measure to apply to every person because of the person you love or the person you hate. Hypocrisy. Yeah, good morning may change in the next morning because of the person involved. It may change to good afternoon. Inconsistencies. Look at the man in view. He should be ashamed of saying that he made a payment for his chances to be high. He is a conspirator. You wanted to outsmart others. At the long run, you get outsmarted and you're crying foul. You have no foul to cry. Because if he's decent and honest, when he was asked to pay such amount of million, he would have asked and demanded, what for? They said, oh, to increase their chances. What do you mean? How? How would my chances be increased if I make such payments? Is the payment genuine? Is it in the party guidelines that such payment be made? And who authorized such payments? If the demand is being made by the party secretary is the party chairman in the Southeast Vice Chairman, is he also in support? Can we have a memo or a circular where it is said? Because you're trying to make sure that it's official. And what purpose? Because just like when somebody tells you pay this amount of money, you will win or you will pass your exam. It's good as that. What is the difference from somebody who made payment to pass exam and somebody who made payment for his chances to win primary to be high? Both of them are guilty of the same offense. Bribery and corruption. And you were expecting a saintly NDC when you've started giving bribe. And you say that you are disappointed. You thought that it was going to be an institution, a movement of good things to happen in this country. The better Nigeria, the new Nigeria so talked about, we are decency, we are meritocracy, we are prebendalism. These things would not be attributed to the party. That's what you thought. But you started committing money to increase your stake. That's those people who do betting. But the point I'm trying to make is this. I have said it many times. NDC is not different from other political parties. They are all and the same. Earlier we understand this better for us.
Okay, so Obiniko Hebwa actually is contesting for the House of Reps seat for Newi North, Newi South Federal and the Federal constituency. Of course, he's from Newi South local government area of Anambra State, and he was a one-time federal commissioner in Public Complaint Commission. Used to we know it as ombudsman. Now let's look at the other part of that very NDC problem. I read a statement. I tried to paraphrase that statement, which was signed by the national spokesperson of the party, Osa director. That was on Sunday. There were some things listed which some persons felt that they were targeting Obi and Kwankwaso. Tony, looking at that very statement, what do you think that NDC wants to achieve with that very statement that he put out?
Let me get a statement again.
Now, the statement that highlighted that the party is looking towards institutionalization. Now, let me read some part of it. Now, it says, second neck resolution, NDC takes major step towards institutionalization. Now, I'm going to take them one by one. The first point says, the NDC is committed to building a party as a strong and enduring institution with emphasis on party supremacy. The programs, policies, and appointment, except personal staff of all government elected on the platform of the party, must be made in consultation with a party structure. It says the party remains supreme and members are expected to align with their personal interests and agendas with those of the party. A point there says all affiliated groups and NGOs shall operate under the guidance and control of the party and must not function in parallel with or independently of the party structure. It says a comprehensive code of conduct shall be established for all party officials and candidates. To this end, a committee has been constituted under the leadership of the National Legal Advisor to develop the framework and guidelines. I'm trying to paraphrase now. It says the NDC is being built as an institution, not a personality cult, political movement, or special people's vehicle to be used and discarded. Members are encouraged to remain committed to the party and contribute to its growth and sustainability for generations to come. And it goes on to say that I'm trying to get other part. It says for candidates, there must also be strict accountability for all funding received, money sourced by candidates at all levels, and contributions made by candidates to campaign accounts must be fully disclosed to the party at the appropriate levels, local government, state, zonal, and national. Such funds must be received through dedicated party campaign accounts, including presidential and government campaign accounts of the party as applicable. So this is the statement. I left out some part of it.
Okay.
We took the parts most relevant to the question.
All right. Now, if you look at the statement, they are talking about party supremacy. That they want the party to be supreme, based on its guidelines, based on its provisions, based on its directives. And at any time there is any form of conflict, the party resolution comes top. No matter how you look at it, many political parties do the same thing. Party is supreme. And no matter how good your claim could be, the next thing they will tell you is that party is supreme. You may have a good claim. And when you are being either marginalized, disenfranchised, or worked against your interests, is being really kicked at, when the party violates its own constitution, violates its own guidelines, violates everything, they will tell you party is supreme. Even in the midst of its obvious violation of its own guidelines and this constitution, party is supreme. For me, it's more like occults related, because that's where you go, whatever they tell you. You don't have any...
Some people said that Saraki Deskini is running the party as a one-man business.
What do you expect?
Do you agree with them?
I need evidence to agree.
Is it the one running the party?
I need evidence to agree. For me, I don't have any evidence, but from the look of things, everything is done in his house. I have asked that question. Does it mean that the party has no secretariat? But they said the party has, but he has a better, or what do you call it, a better place in his house, or I don't know how they put it, but there are things they do at the party secretariat, but there are certain meetings ordinarily to be held in his...
But was it unexpected, knowing that this is a serial politician who has experience? Former police officer, for that matter.
I don't know what people expect. Just like you said, the former police officer, former governor, former House of Rep member. What do you expect? I was told he was the one that registered the party. That people he put in there were placeholders. He put the national chairman, he put everybody. He was the one that engineered, he was behind the scene, pushing, he was the one bringing money. He was the one doing some of those things. And the chicken has come home to roost. That is just that. The point is, whatever you see, you take. I'm not surprised.
But whatever happening in the party now, is it extraordinary? Is it unforeseen? Has it ever been seen before in political party circles?
For me, it has been seen. Nothing is new. Most political parties, look at Chowori's party. Chowori is national chairman. Chowori is the presidential candidate. Chowori is the one making people candidates. He's the one it's a private business for him. Look at other political parties. These parties are private business for those who register them. They see these things as their personal property, not a national institution. That's what they see it. Apart from most political parties like APC, ABGA, that Labour Party, that some people will say, no, it can't belong to one man. We must dig it out. We must log it out. Outside some of these big political parties that have produced candidates, produced people, most of these smaller political parties remain properties of those who registered them.
Now, before we cap up on this very NDC issue, of course, we have to look at the other part of the issues we raised this morning, which is about the allegation that there was dissension in the party because Rabiu Kwankwaso felt that people who are loyal to him, who want tickets for different seats in Kano State under NDC, that there were plans to change their names, and because of that, he told the party that if that happens, he would leave the party. It's out there in the media, but the Kwankwaso group has come to debunk that, saying that nothing like that happened, saying that their leader never at any point in time lodged a complaint about what is being alleged in the media. And like I explained, that in the heat of that there was a list of candidates for different positions in Kano State, which was issued yesterday. It's now out there on the internet, so you can go and check that out. So that list was dropped yesterday, and we have seen rebuttal coming from the Kwankwaso group. Now the question is, where is the story coming from? Because people are now trying to, conjure one or two things, and I have heard people saying that the story of dissension in APs in NDC was planted by the traducers, the opponents, and perhaps the ruling party to destroy the party, create dissension, and paint the party black before Nigerians, Tony.
Well, for me, I may not agree. The truth is, just like ADC as we have, reports have emerged that I think we bought ADC, bought it over from Rabiu Kwankwaso reports. And that was why many people from day one knew that Atiku was going to win the primaries. That he was the brain behind everything. For now, ADC could be said to be Atiku's property. But in the case of NDC, there is sharing formula between Rabiu Kwankwaso and Seraki Dixon. But many of them are having problem with Seraki Dixon. Like Kwankwaso, in Kano, leave Kano State alone for me 100%. He can't come to Kano State and tell me he's 60-40. It's my state. For Peter Obi, anything Southeast, leave it for him. He decides who becomes the candidate. Kwankwaso is saying, for me, in the entire north, or if possible, northwest, that should be my property. Seraki Dixon should be the one involved in southwest and possibly south, because he's coming from south. So there is sharing formula. These things are interest related, game of interest. As we speak now, APC is also like a personal property to Mr. President. He decides who becomes who and who becomes northwards. That's why Fubara withdrew from the race. And that's why some members of the House of Rep and members of Senate, they went to Mr. President asking for automatic tickets. Mr. President told them, I will not give you that. I will not promise you that. Go and work with your governors. Because for Mr. President, he has shared the power in APC. Governors, take charge of your states. All the governors of APC, take charge of your states. Some states that do not have APC as governors, there were stakeholders that Mr. President asked them to take over. We saw what Odjus Okalo and Benjamin Carlo posted on Facebook. One claiming that the president has given him the leadership position of the party in that very state. Benjamin wrote on Facebook, Odjus Okalo wrote on Facebook, claiming the same thing. At the point they came together and said, President had told them to go and work together. Now, what do you suspect? APC is business of Mr. is more like his personal property. ADC is the personal property of Atiku Abubakar. In every state, he decides who becomes the candidate and who doesn't become the candidate. For NDC, it's more like property of who? The persons have called for Abga. It's obvious the governor decides who becomes what and who doesn't become what. But there are times they will say, go to the field and allow anybody who comes on top. There are times they will say, we want this person.
Okay, so let's now get to other issues this very morning, and let's talk about the derailment of train that was on Monday. It was on the Warri Itakpe train service that it happened, and it was confirmed by the Nigerian Railway Corporation. And from what we know now, 3 persons died from that incident, and this is just coming less than 1 month after the Nigerian Railway Corporation temporarily suspended operation on that Warri Itakpe train service due to operational exigencies and technical advice from its engineers. But why we're talking about this is that it has become like a phenomenon that from time to time this happens. In a time of 3 months, 2 months, we have rail derailments, lives are lost, in some cases, some persons are injured. And if you look at the records by the National Bureau of Statistics, it says that between 2019 and August 2025, that Nigeria has recorded 183 train derailments. 183 train derailments between 2019 and 2025. So if you are going to add latest ones that happen, so we might be clocking around 192 or 193. This year alone, we have had not less than 2 cases, and in some cases, lives are lost. So, Tony, if you begin to look at why we do have this very rail derailment, you see a number of causes. You see the issue of human error, you see the issue of mechanical failures, excessive speed, track defects or poor maintenance, issues of obstruction on the track, weather and natural disaster. You can also talk about the issue of overloading or improper loading, sabotage or vandalism. These are the probable causes of this very whole thing. In Nigeria case, we have not been able to segregate and be able to identify what it is. But since we're having this constant derailment, is this time to take a chill pill, take some break, scrutinize, recalibrate, and know what the problem is before we continue the services?
I think you can't just take a break because of your own failure. When you fail, you must go back to the drawing board. I have looked at some of these rail tracks, substandard. They will tell you it is standard gauge. What do you expect? And look at the contract. We are told that even the one put, I don't know how true, because I saw it on Facebook, I cannot confirm it. The one put together by Rotimi Chibuike as the transport minister, the one that traversed to the J Republic, that the trucks had failed. I don't know how true. But some of these social media posts can be misleading. Having said that, and you're talking about rail derailment. No doubt, because you must look at the trucks. What is the quality of the trucks? And some of them are not even lasting. And if you also look at the coaches, are they newer? Because for me, I don't buy the idea of using locomotives, the ones used in the 80s. I don't buy such idea. Go to China. Do you see derailment in China, Franklin? How many times have you heard that the rail derailed in China? Is it not the same earth, or is it not the same soil? I mean, what's the difference? Because they make sure that the quality, that's what they call quality control, and using operation research techniques, they were able to put something strong. But what do we? You cannot go back. We are failing. We know the result. We know the reason. We know why these things are the way they are. China made corruption a capital offense. When do we make corruption a capital offense? When you're still public fund. Let's leave maybe death sentence, life imprisonment. Can we make it so? That's what China did. Look at the population of China. Even when we know that they've been able to regulate the population, India has overtaken them in terms of population. As big, look at how they are aggressively embarking on industrialization, opening up a number of provinces. China is very big in terms of landmarks, in terms of everything. But look at China. They have connectivity, rail connectivity around different areas, Guangzhou, and many other places. But here in Nigeria, I don't know, because anybody born in Southeast, I bet you a child in Southeast as old as 19 years, 20 years, and I won't call the person a child again, maybe an adult, may not have seen train or even a rail track, may not have seen. I remember, how did I know about it? When we were small, we went to Enugu, around the Holy Ghost Axis. You will see old track. But now, markets, women have taken over that very place. If you are heading to Port Harcourt, the one that traversed from Port Harcourt to Aba, when we are small, anybody born in Anambra who may not have gone to Enugu may not have seen this thing in life. And we are talking about derailment in some other parts of the country. What does that tell you? It's a big shame. Honestly, it's a big shame.
Okay, so let's talk about the insecurity before we get to opening phone lines. I talked about a couple of things about insecurity. The 50 elders who went for a peace meeting with bandits and they were kidnapped. The video which was put out by bandits who kidnapped the Oyo school children and their teachers, we'll talk about that then. They used the issue of state police to wrap it up. But let's really listen to this so that we can get a better idea of what actually happened, and then we can take our analysis. We're listening to somebody known as English Alhaji. He reports very well when talk about the issue of banditry and terrorism in Nigeria. So we'll just take this very snippet and then listen to him, and then
between bandits and Magamididi community, we make bandits kidnap the 50 elders. We come for reconciliation meeting. I'm not saying I don't hear the story. This thing they fly everywhere. So I say I can't give like the full gist of what happened. So this Magamididi, na community where they under Maradu local government area of Zamfara state. So Askarawa security unalive 2 bandits collect their weapon. Days later, bandits come for reprisal attack. Unalive 2 Askarawa security still come collect their ammunition. So it don't balance. These people buy 2 bandits, collect bandit ammunition. Bandit come for revenge, buy 2 Askarawa, collect the Askarawa ammunition. Now, days later, Nigerian army come go operation for Kandere. Come unalive 3 Askarawa, 3 bandits You don't understand? Then bandit can say no, Abba, this is not the too much. Then bandit can send message to this Magamidi community people, say make them come for reconciliation. Say the fire done the day over. They want stop banditry. They don't want to disturb them again. Like, let us not fight ourselves again. Let peace reign. You don't understand? They send message to them. The leader of these bandits now Jamo, name be name. So he send a message to this Magamidi community people, say make una come, make we reconcile. Enough of all this buying ourselves, buying and buying, make we reconcile. Now, the stupid community people gather themselves, pick out 50 elders to go represent them for the meeting. Like, I don't understand. I don't really understand. How will they think for this country? Some of us really deserve waiting the I swear to God. You just say these people don't be your enemy. You don't buy 2 of their men. They buy 2 of your men. And you don't buy them. They can send the invitation letter, make you come, make una reconcile. Reconcile as in how?
Okay, so that's the story of what happened in Zamfara state, how the killings went on both sides, and perhaps the bandit felt that the fire was coming their way, and they called the people of the community to come for reconciliation, and they sent 50 elders to go for reconciliation. How do you look at this? You think it was a wise decision to go and make peace with bandits, Tony?
Well, it depends on what you call peace. Or is it graveyard peace? Because for me, that is what it could be called, graveyard peace. You are not making peace with bandits. People who have sworn to be your aggressors. People who have sworn to be your enemies. People who have sworn to take over your lands. People who have sworn to take over everything you have and conquer you, dominate you, and where you become their slave. So what peace are you making? Are you going to more like allow them to, so let's have a way of sharing things, you take this one, we take this one, is graveyard peace. It makes no sense. Why they may be doing that? Maybe for them to be alive for today, hoping that government may come to their rescue at any time in future. As that he who runs from a fight runs to come back again and fight. It could be for temporary relief.
And this people did not inform the local government chairman nor anybody before they went on that very peace meeting.
They did not. That is the point. You don't blame people when they take certain decisions on anything that has to do with their security. You don't blame them, but they may make mistakes. Why they have decided to take such decisions could be because government has failed them from time to time, and you've not been for them, you've not in any way protect them, and they will now tell you, take permission from you, because for them they have seen that government is handicapped. That's why they said, you know what, is it not better to go and meet these bandits? What do they want? They want cows, more lands. We may give them those things for us to be alive. What these people are craving for now is survival, not necessarily what they own or what they don't own.
So then, Tony, 11 of those elders were released, so they are back to the community, and they were the ones who raised the alarm of what happened. So at this point in time, it has become knowledge about what happened, and perhaps they might have an idea of where they had the meeting, which we know the way the bandits operate, they will live there.
Yeah.
But from what has happened, so what can the authorities make out from this incident and pick a cue from them and know how to approach this variation?
Well, for me, what can authorities? They may intervene, because definitely government remains government even when it's failing. Yes, government remains government even when it is failing its own responsibilities. Since this has taken place, government may take decisions that will reverse all of the decisions taken and then ensure that the people are protected. What the people are after is not whatever that is decided. They are after their own protection. They are after their own safety, security. That's what they're after. If you can provide it for us, why not? That is just that. That's what people want. Not intervening and you fail the people again. You cannot provide security again. You must see to their security, which is very paramount.
Okay, so we're going to open the phone lines now. Take your reactions in the course of the issue. We can also raise other things we have here.
I wanted to also share, because there was a sentencing, was it yesterday, about a Nigerian priest who had engaged in all manner of frolics with.
So the one that happened in the US?
Odiong.
The one in US.
US.
Okay, this one came out last year. Last week.
The sentence, I think it happened yesterday. Life imprisonment for having intimacy with different women, using your spiritual corner and possibly people entrusted in your care. A reverend father. It happened in US. And Sullivan, the owner of West Ham, co-chairman of West Ham, yesterday resigned. You know why? Because BBC did a thorough investigation. BBC said they took a decision to make such publication where many women in the past, in the 80s, in the 90s, they became what they were because he solicited for sex. And when these things happen, look at the law. It was not illegal for you to pay a minor to have sex with a minor, but it became illegal around 2003 or thereabout. But some of these things, Sullivan, the co-chairman of West Ham United, committed some of these things. And he's the owner of Daily Sports, both the magazine and even the Glamour Girls magazine. Glamour Girls magazine, he's the owner. For you to feature on the cover of Glamour Girl, you must submit. You know what that means. So this will tell you what is happening now. Things happening here. We're talking about Nigerian pastor here. But look at somebody. This audience may not have done half of what this pastor did. But audience has been sentenced to life imprisonment. And this pastor here in Nigeria is working freely.
All right. So we're going to open the phone lines now to get your input into today's conversation. Don't forget we're also live on our Facebook page. You can go to that platform and drop your comments. The phone lines are 0803-221-6973 or 0803-827-6694. Let's get to talk. Good morning.
Hello.
Yes, you're welcome on board.
Good morning. My name is George, calling from Masaba.
Just go on.
Let me start with the issue of the problems and what is going on in NDC. See, the truth is that there's no different Nigeria from another. But all we expected is just we don't need that change because we have tried a particular Nigerians and we feel that those particular Nigerians are failing us. You see what is happening in that political party is not different from what is happening in every other political party. This is not the issue whether it's because P2B is there or P2B is not there. Sometimes, if I listen to Kenneth, I always see an analysis on the aspect of hatred and envy that they have for P2B. That is why sometimes you listen to him, he always go overboard. Somebody like me, I'm not taking him serious anymore. If I ever see a video, I just could start. If I ever in my house listen to a program, one of the TV channel, and I saw him, I moved to the next channel because I'm seeing that it's not serious. He's trying to politicize everything, and that is one of the major problems that the Igbo man have. There was a day a man come to your studio there and say that the Igbo are the ones killing Igbo. So many people rise against this man, trying to talk this man down that day. And why did he say that? Because we refuse to accept the truth. And that's our major problem. That's our major problem. You can see the way. I just saying Yoruba man going to different TV stations, criticizing with people with the worst situation that Nigeria finds itself. What is the problem? What exactly problem do you have with P2B? What exactly problem? Can somebody come call Kenneth Okonkwo and sit in there and say, what exactly problem you have with P2B? It's not the normal nature of the Igbo man. That is the way I look at it. So for me, anything that he's talking, he's just saying it just for the hatred and every other thing that they have for P2B. And it's going overboard.
All right, thank you.
You know that it's very easy. Let him go and stand and let people vote for him. Good morning.
Thank you, George, for calling out this very morning. Hello, good morning. Okay. Are you there?
Good morning.
Yes, good morning. Your name?
Ogala Dibi. Ezayeno. Speaking from Ozo.
Okay, go on, sir.
Kenneth Okonkwo. Can you stand for a councillor we don't know him. Can he stand for PG in his village? No. So let him come work. Let him continue his just let him do. After all, we will know him. In the case of that Borunu, they are making for their just because of fear. Because the government has told everybody they want to live. That's why I know that's why they go win there. That's my answer. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much for joining the conversation. Don't forget you can also join on our Facebook page. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Frank.
Yes, good morning.
And good morning to Mr. Tony Zambegi.
Yeah, he can hear you.
My name is Mario Keshuka, calling from Onitsha.
Go on, Mario.
You people should not be much angry with that and their lawyer. Because a person who I known has never won a case in the court of law. Maybe in the courtroom.
Are you sure he wants to practice?
If he has any case, let us know. He's a third and their lawyer. And that is the truth. And he is still living in bondage, you know. So you shouldn't mind him much because he is trying to be relevant. He should thank Peter Obi very well because Peter Obi is the one that made him who he is in politics. Because without Peter Obi, nobody will listen to him whenever he's talking because he has never played anything like politics, even in his own state, Enugu state. So I don't want to have issue with him. Then, Mr. Speaker, based on what you brought about now, about the Reverend Father that was jail, it is a different case with what is happening in Anambra State. You said he was jailed just because he paid a minus. No matter how it is, if you pay the minus, it's a crime, whether you are a Reverend Father or anybody. Then on this side, even if you pay the minus or the minus, it is still a crime. Whether you're a pastor or you're not a pastor. We're talking about this one of dead pastors. That is my stand till tomorrow. There is no criteria to know a dead pastor. There is no criteria, even if it's like a crime. If you're a pastor and you commit a 419.
Okay, hold on,
Mario.
Mario.
Take away that pastorship of the title.
Hold on, Mario. Mario, hold on. Mario, hold on. Let's make some clarifications.
Okay.
The Reverend Father in question was not sentenced because of he paid a minor. Rather, he was sentenced to life imprisonment in Texas for sexually assaulting women under his spiritual care.
Okay.
So that's what the case is. Maybe you were referring to the case of the West Ham chairman that Tony referred to.
Well, to me, a pastor is still as well a human being like you. You understand? So whatever that was underlined as a crime, if he commit that crime, he should face it. But whenever he live his normal life because he's a pastor, I don't think you should persecute him because of that. Because he's still a human being. If you don't want to follow him, go away from him automatically.
Okay.
That is what I'm saying. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mario. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Yeah, thank you for joining.
Franklin and Dr. Tony Zambeki.
You're welcome.
Very good morning to you.
You're welcome.
Yes, my concern this morning, because this discussion started yesterday, and I listened, but I couldn't come in to air my view on it. This issue of trial of pastors and so on and so forth in Anambra State. It seems that the analyst, the focus is on Anambra State law. And that is why one of the critical questions that was thrown in, the way you handle it, Dr. Mbeki, we can do regard to our constitution. Our constitution is a grand norm, the supreme law of the land. Because you are focused, yes, I know, and I believe what you said, that our law is not a retrogressive, but progressive one. Yes, the offense that they are committed, because you are looking at the 2025 using religion as a tool to defraud so many people. It is there, and no church can excuse themselves. No church is immune. Because even for quite long, even before the people accuse, somebody used an ordinary sticker to defraud and make billions of naira. Making that billions of mostly from Igbo people, and the man, that person has a very big, so many industries, and also a very private university that is booming, and even big transport company and so on and so forth. Ordinary sticker that once you press this sticker in your distance that you know Steve, and nothing, even gum cannot touch you, blood cannot kill you, thief cannot break into your apartment. If you place it on your car, no thief can snatch that car from you. You make billions of naira. That time every road will lead to LL. I don't want to mention the name of anybody. And even here in Anambra State, somebody has just a prophecy that he saw the present governor of Anambra State running out of the government house on the pool of blood. Even though the governor, the behavior to him make me to know that he's a liberated one, that is not the type of people that we use religion. But for that thing, he make him arrest, and he never mentioned any of that people.
Okay, please
because
summarize.
If you want to use Anambra State law, for example, if you want to carry out a cleanse up, let it not be lopsided. Because if it is lopsided, it will be like this law against the fraud
All right. Thank you for your opinion. Please, when you call him, know that you are time bound. So articulate your point and give us the punch. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning. Your name?
This is Sunday calling from a blog.
Go on Sunday.
Yes. All the political parties we have found out they are all the same. And Bible says when foundation being destroyed, what can righteous do? Now, 2027 election, I wonder how it's going to be free and fair. I wonder, even the people we hope that will give us hope, we find out that they are the same team with the incumbents. That's why I told them. In that all, then send INEC as an observer according to Electoral Act. And INEC went there, see what happened within the political party. And the same political party will come to INEC to give them free and fair election. And if they say he will go to this thing, we have equity and they have deputies. Them that we accuse INEC of rigging the election, collecting money, accusing judiciary of all these things. You must make sure you did not do it within yourself. But now the whole party has do it the way they want. They will tell you the party is free. You conducted primary election in my Agbata local government here. You did not announce the results here. All of you will go to Abuja to begin to select who. It's not election. We have not even conducted it at all. We have stayed in Abuja there and do stream and put all your this thing. But we have come here, conducted the election. Now you go to Abuja to give whoever you want to give. And tomorrow we will go to Abuja and tell INEC, give us free affair. You have rigged the election. Opposition, incumbents have done this. And God come and help us. I said, remove God in this Nigeria. You see Nigeria situation. Anybody calling God, you just want to deceive yourself. We know what we are doing. And the followers are the produce of the leaders. That is Nigeria for you.
All right.
The leader we have today, come among us. The followers and the leaders are not, they are the same people because the followers produce them. So please, political party, let us do the right thing within our party so that the general election will be free and fair to everybody. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Sunday. Good morning.
Hello.
Your name?
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning. Let's know your name.
Honorable Denzel Okukume JP Okulono Tendo,
Go on.
Yeah, Franklin, I thank you people. Tony Olisambeki, what you said this morning, the right thing. All these political parties, they are the same. Only that APC is a new political party and they are growing. And what I want to say in NX, we have a very big problem. I want to ask you to clear us on this issue. In other countries or in the Western world, if primary is being conducted, the the political parties have right to let the National Working Committee decide that those that we represent them. Instead of, like me now, I have somebody that I voted in that primary who may be a good person. Now the party will look and say, this is a person that will win election for us, and change that person. Was this supposed to happen like that? Or is it happening in some world or where things are going well? Then another thing I want to say is that issue of insecurity in this country, I have said this time without number. You can't blame these people that went and answer because the government has failed them, and this is about their life. You don't know how these people have treated them. So they're out of fear. In fact, if these people are asked to listen to government, they will do that. So don't blame them in any way. They are just fighting for their life. Government want to listen to them, or like saying they don't inform. What are they informing the local government chairman for? What will he do? What has they been doing? So we don't blame them. So let the government take care of the security and life and property. Then,
okay.
If this type of thing happens,
thank you. Please keep on saying this very thing. Let's mind our time. Good morning.
Hello. Hello.
Yes. Good morning. Your name?
All right. Is it okay now?
Yes, it's okay.
Mr. Speaker, this is Right Honorable Abl Abraham, reaching you from Opanambi in Asaba.
All right. Go on, sir.
I don't just want to go far. I want to contribute to some of our caller comments. I've been listening since. Please, I want to, whether you take it or you don't take it, this is what 2027 is looking at. There is nothing like free and fair coming 2027. The issue is, even the Bible, the heaven that's supposed to be in a peaceful place, the owner and the founder of heaven told us, and he said, even till today, he continues, telling us that the kingdom of heaven is sovereign violence, and violence take it by force. So it is going to be violent, and who's serious violence will take it by force. If I am ready, if we are ready, get ready that it will not be, if there's nothing like free and fair. It will be by force, then you get it. And when you get it, you sit down now to see if you can make it peacefully. Come to insecurity in this country, Oga, we all know, whether you agree with me or not agree with me, a sitting president, a sitting security chief in this country, they are all included in this insecurity. It's a business. Take it or you leave it. That is how it is. So it's like you can't take their bread from them. This is what they are living on.
All right. Thank you.
This is part of the borrowing that they are borrowing every year.
Thank you very much. We have to go to our Facebook page now. Chinyerugezo Koli Oroke Okechukwu, who is watching from Nkwele. Then Onye Kachingu Su, watching from Onitsha. Obi Smiling, Obi Beke the Smiling Angel, and a Wisdom, watching from Asaba. Well, thank you all for watching. Then Hero MC Adamu says, well, Kenneth is nothing to be worried about. He's being paid to say and do what he's doing. And he says for the grandfather case, he should settle himself with the law. Capiro International says he's watching from Odume Obusi. And he says, I think it would be an NDC should use Kenneth Okonkwo for defamation of character. They should sue him for defamation of character. I think that's what he intended to right here. Okay. Okay, Gonas Madeke says the pastor you talked about in Awada should be arrested, and even the members should also be arrested too. And Jehu Bishop says, you mean people are aware of this church and people decided to keep quiet? And he says, so unfortunate, this is another kind of Reverend King. Magan Namani says the NDC should be fair and just in ensuring the outcomes of the primaries to avoid internal wranglings disrupting the party at this point in time. And this one added, okay, Gonas, those trying to cause problem in NDC are being sponsored by the APC, and he says Kenneth Okonkwo always going against Peter Obi. Who is he in politics? Okay. Ewog Joshua says What Tony is saying is true. I have worked there as car air conditioning repairer. Okay, so according to him, they used to bring car for him to repair. I think that's what I can make out from your message. Chooks Ezedeborg says the church actually started at Warri and the Kulumle in the early 80s as no name. They claim that Jesus didn't introduce any name. I was living in the same compound with one of the pastors. The man in Awada hijacked the church from Brother Igne, as they used to call him. He's the one that introduced the new doctrine. It was in Awada that they started answering this spring assembly, and he says on his right, he knows them very well. Okay. Amadi Don Mike says he's watching from Fege. He says, funny enough, here the bandits holding people that went for a peace talk in Zamfara state, and our government is busy talking about 2027 elections. And he says, hello, bam bam. Okay. Dr. Miss Simo Olebara from Awura says, every new day comes with bizarre, scaring, terrifying news and hopelessness. Left, right, and center, we are surrounded by insecurity, and our hearts keep pounding against our ribs. Fear has gripped the land, and I ask, Kivadis, where do we go from here? We are all living in fear, uncertainty, and apprehension, as no one knows what will happen next. We now sleep with both eyes open. And she says, so worrisome. Omaga, also Francis Omaga Namani, watching from Omagun's Enugu State, says, the issue of insecurity, hunger, high cost of living, and hardship have become a recurring concern to Nigerians. Government at all levels should collaborate and do something about it. Nzekweselesin says Obi should know that all these things are targeted at him, and also want to say that political office should be made less attractive to know people who are in politics to serve the people. If not, forget about getting it right in Nigerian politics. And if you ask me, I will tell you that one of these guys are most being sponsored to destabilize NDC by the ruling party. But they should know that 2027 is not going to be business as usual for political robbers. Sebastian Abigwe from Ugwabobusi says, looking at the way and manner Kenneth Okonkwo goes about matters when it comes to NDC, especially Mr. Peter Obi, is becoming something else. Though we shouldn't be surprised to some extent, because one's profession sometimes speaks volume of what comes out of the person. We cannot forget in a hurry one of his movies titled Living in Bondage. So he thinks that Kenneth is living in bondage. Mazumore Chikwadorosinachi says all these so-called pastors should be thoroughly evaluated and prosecuted, because they have caused and still causing more harm than good to the congregations, and our people shouldn't develop much love to such pastors. Onyawarokwe Agwayozo, and he said, I think Mr. Kenneth Okonkwo is still living in bondage. He posted from that bondage. Tony, we get to wrap up at this point in time. But somebody asked a question. The mayor, he said, in other climes, in other countries, is it the party leadership that determines parties' candidates? Let's start from there.
I think it varies. It varies. There is no definite method for determining candidates of political party during primaries. It varies from one country to the other. In the United States of America, it's usually a level playing field, not the party leaders that decides, but they may have influence. They may have influence. Like in the last mid-election held in the United States of America, Donald Trump, the president of the country, remember, from the Republican Party, he had influence on some candidates. He helped some aspirants to emerge as candidates. But there should be a level playing field. Then his influence will also act on some aspirants he wants to work with, because he will make it known to the party, these are people I want to work with at the Senate and also at the House of Representatives. So the party will have a way to influence the process in favor of those the president, who is the leader of the party, wants. But it is not done the way we do it here. If somebody has a very big influence, it will be very difficult to dislodge him. He does have this influence, especially when the contenders, maybe the person who is coming out is not of bigger influence. But here, because the process in US is regulated, primaries are regulated. And the president has no overriding power over the regulatory authority. His party is also involved. But the primaries are not regulated the way it should be. INEC remains observers. Of course, the new law says they must observe, but that does not make them supervisors.
Okay, so maybe when we come tomorrow, there could be a new thing about the state police, because the Senate said they are going to begin debate today. Let's see what comes out at the end of the plenary session today. Tomorrow, we are going to congregate here and then bring you new development about this. On this very note, to end today's conversation, thank you for joining us. Tony Olisambeki, thank you for being around.
Thank you.
And to all the listeners, we appreciate your time and your input. Tomorrow is going to be another day, and we ask you to stay tuned to the Radio 104.7 FM, because we have other interesting things lined up for you from now till shutdown. My name is Frank Nebuka. Good morning.